Hello everyone, welcome back to the Noah Yo-Yo's Too Much YouTube channel, and today I'm here to answer the question, can you beat Tower Defense Simulator Fallen Mode with nature towers only? The rules are that I can only use nature-based towers like Harvester, Swarmer, Biologist. I have to beat Fallen Mode, and I cannot use revives. So yeah, let's see if I can do it. So I started out by using a biologist for early game defense. Now this is controversial because a swarmer would be cheaper and better for late game, but I decided to use biologist because in my opinion it's an underrated tower and it is really powerful. So my game plan here was to farm until wave 8, in which I would place and upgrade a swarmer, and then I would just improvise from there. I didn't really have a main strategy, so I was just hoping that I was just gonna have enough skill to win. Wave 8 was the first real DPS check during the challenge. I wasn't sure if we really had the damage to do the 275, but luckily we were able to deal the damage and win. The next big hurdle I was worried about was flying detection, because from my previous experience with Harvester, it had pretty low DPS, and from what I knew at the time, Harvester was the only flying detection we had. Although, I found out later that Moonglow also has flying detection, but yeah. So I did place down a Harvester, and I was hoping that that would be enough flying detection. I also wanted to use its vines for the majority of our AoE. So yeah. The next challenge, right before the flyings, would be the Fallen Giant. And the Fallen Giant was a little bit of a worry for me, but luckily we were able to pass the DPS check and move on to the next few waves. Next up is the Possessed Armor. Now, our only real hidden detection was the sunflower plant that the biologist threw out, so I was actually extremely worried, especially because I thought our main DPS was Swarmer. Luckily, the plant was able to do enough damage, and we were able to pass this challenge. And Finally, the moment we were all waiting for. Would I have enough damage with the harvesters to have flying detection? Now, initially I was really worried because they got pretty far, but luckily we were able to clutch up and move on to the next wave. Nothing was really difficult past the flying, so we kind of just kept moving on and on, and I was actually starting to feel really good about this challenge. Fallen rushers were a bit of a scare, but I kind of expected us to be bad against really fast enemies, so, it is what it is. But luckily, we've been cruising through this really easily. We have insane DPS because of Swarmer, really good detections because of Harvester and Biologist, and money making because of Farm. This was looking to be a beautiful playthrough. Our next DPS check was the Fallen Shielder, and it was really easy past. Our Swarmers destroyed that thing. I was really starting to get hopeful that we'd be able to win. I just like to slow down for a second and mention how stupid I was for not realizing that biologists could attack flying enemies. Like, the flying enemies were actually being hit by confusion debuffs, and I was just looking at that like, oh, must have been a glitch. Man, I'm stupid sometimes. Now, I actually forgot the Fallen Angel existed, and it kind of jump scared me. Luckily, I was pretty well prepared for it, but it still nearly leaked, and I knew they were going to be spammed later on in the playthrough. So I had to find out another way to get good flying detection. There just needed to be some way I could win, and luckily I found it. By the way, this is when I realized that I could finally use biologists to attack flying enemies. That's what I'm calling out here, if you didn't realize. The next big hurdle was the Fallen Honor Guard, but I wasn't that worried. Aside from the fact that it could stun my towers, it really didn't have any strong traits about it. Its HP was alright, and its speed was kind of slow, so I wasn't worried at all. After that easy kill, I kind of was wondering, okay, what's the next problem? And I really didn't see anything being a huge problem until Fallen King. So let's just speed up until Fallen King. See you guys there. The time is finally here. Can I beat TDS with just nature-based towers? The biologist, the swarmer, the farm, and last but not least, the harvester. They've all fought so hard to bring me here, and I will not fail them. I have to win Tower Defense Simulator. I did it. I had finally beaten Tower Defense Simulator with nature towers only. This was just a easy and fun challenge, not gonna lie. But huge thanks to Gamer Buckle, who made the music, and Paradoxum Games that made the game. If you want me to post more TDS content, like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Also, join the Discord too if you want to be part of events.